Now I have Seamus O'Laoi here with us, and wow, do we have a big story to show you? And it's a reminder of what things were like during the lockdown. So we have it's March 15th, 2021, and Seamus, this is your nom de plume, but we'll talk about that a little later. You were in O'Donovan's off license on Summer Hill. Will you tell us
Yeah.
what happened?
Okay, so I was walking home and I thought I would like to purchase some beer. I walked into O'Donovan's off license, told the guy at the counter that I was advised not to wear a mask. He was still badgering me, so I just thought, okay, I've the correct money in my hand. I'll I put the money on the counter and walk out with the beer, and he could just like kind of let it go and say
So
to his
he was
man,
all
oh,
masked up at the time, was he? He was wearing the mask. You come in without a mask.
yeah, he was masked up, yeah. And I mean, he asked me, why aren't you wearing a mask? I said, look, I've been advised not to. That's all. That's all anyone needed to know. Actually, that's even too much information, technically. But so I mean, I didn't know how nuts the guy was and how determined he was. So if I did, I wouldn't, I would not have walked into the shop. It was also unfortunate that I happened to be the only person in the shop, because that would have seriously complicated things. If there was another person in the shop, so it was just the two of us, and he decides to be my doctor, uh, um, be a policeman, and a judge, all at the same time, and make the decision that I should be incarcerated. Um,
Now,
and
watching
yeah,
the video, we're going to play it now in a second, but I mean, it's actually not surprising because so many of us experience people like this. Maybe not to the extent, but
mm,
during these lockdowns where we lost all our rights and people went along with it because they thought there was a deadly virus in the air. All the receipts are in now. There was no deadly virus in the air. There was absolutely no need for any masks, and it was a hoax. So you were well
mm,
within your rights not to wear a mask. You were right, he
mm,
was wrong. But sadly, people haven't come to that yet. They still think they were within their rights to behave like this, which is why we keep going on about it, because we're trying
mm,
to tell the wider public, no, that was wrong. You said it at the time, and well done to you for videotaping this or video recording it, more so. Well done,
mm,
because if you didn't do that, people would say, well, nobody made you, so what are you talking about? And that's kind of where we're
mm.
at now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, well, there is the paperwork that went with the court case, but yeah, like that's it. I mean, I even felt cheeky, the idea of recording, my interactions with Gardaí at different points. But now I have a very much stronger attitude about it, which is no, absolutely record and tell them you're recording, and just let them know you're recording, and don't interact until you have some means of or even if it's just, if you don't have a device, notebook, write stuff down, make sure
Mm.
they know what you are recording.
Now, you
um
very kindly covered your man's face here, so you're protecting him from his own stupidity. So that's
yeah.
very kind of you because he's making a holy show of himself here. Does he even realize it? Has he learned his lessons? I'm not sure. The off license has since closed down. Just shows you so many of these places that turn people away, that were very rude to customers, lock them inside. I mean, this is just appalling.
Yeah,
Aren't around
yeah,
anymore. So let's
yeah,
just
I called
play
it
a little.
O'Donovan's detention center afterwards.
Let's just play a little bit and remind ourselves of that day on March 15th, 2021.
How's it going? I'm in with Donovan's off license on Summerhill, and I've been forcibly kept inside the shop here, and the man here is ringing the guards.
Correct.
So this is
Yes, hello.
kidnap.
can I get the guards, please, to O'Donnell's office in Summerhill, please?
This is false arrest and
Yes,
kidnap.
Summerhill, yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So this is
That's
going.
right, yeah. Just up from McCurtain
This is
Street.
going live out to YouTube.
I have a fella
Yeah.
here who actually assaulted me.
So this.
I locked the door, so he's actually locked in the shop. At
Oh
the
yeah,
moment.
he said I assaulted him. I tried to get out of the shop.
Oh,
So
the shop.
he's saying that I assaulted him. I was
I'm
just
inside,
trying to
I'm
get
inside,
out of
I'm
the
locked
shop.
Inside.
So there he is, self-incriminating. He's saying that he's locked. He's basically saying on camera that he's locked you inside. Now, he is saying you assaulted him. What is he talking about here?
Yeah, I wanted to get out of the shop where he was, going and shutting the door. So I just, I kind of almost gently tried to get him to stand back. That was assault, apparently. I didn't push it. I did not. I don't know. There's a kind of some more smarter power than myself kind of took over and directed me here and just went, okay, don't argue with this guy. Don't push him. Don't do anything. Just, you've got a camera there, record, talk firmly, but without any force, and just record the situation. And like, I was able to stop and let the camera record what he was saying. Again, like I wouldn't have thought this through. Like none of this. It just happened there.
Yeah, you did well to keep recording, because a lot of the times when we try to do these things, even myself having been in TV, and then you go back and you think, God, I pressed stop too early, or I didn't do the right recording, or it's all pear-shaped. But this one works. Yeah,
thanks. Yeah, I mean it does. But the one regret I do have is, even in this interaction is afterwards, is that I didn't even sound record the guards when they came into the shop.
Well, you see, we're learning.
Yes, we are. And I did get them to write their names down, but they kind of wrote it on a crappy piece of paper, and I lost it. But I would be much more circumspect now. I'd say, okay, we're going to take our time here. What's your name, badge number? Who's your superintendent? Where are you based? Do you understand the situation here? Do you understand I'm recording you? For
and
my
what
defense.
do they say, like, when you'd been locked in, so against your will, by this guy, just because you weren't wearing a mask? So they were in a bit of a pickle, really, weren't they? Or not?
They were absolutely in a pickle. And the weird thing is, none of these people understood the hot water they were in. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're used to people being easy to kind of knock over. I don't know, but like, I was kind of going, are these people really that thick? Because the guard, like, when it came to the court case later, I know you probably want to kind of talk about that later, but just one point, when it came to the court case later, I was just dying to get the guards up on the stand. I was going to rip. I mean, I was actually going to put them in a very, very precarious position. But they didn't show up, so they were lucky. They were very lucky they didn't show up to court.
And the judge just struck it out, did he?
It was a she, and she was kind of grandmotherly. She was like, oh, so nice. But she was fining people for nothing. So, but she struck it out. Yeah. Yeah. There's a bit of a story.
You could have countersued with something like this, couldn't you? I mean, you could say, wait a second, I was well within my rights. Didn't have to wear a mask.
I could. Yeah, and the judge said something funny at the end. where it was, she was kind of putting a proviso as part of the circumstance of striking it off. She was talking about me being, I don't know, taking a day out of work, or I don't know what it was, but I kind of got the impression that she was worried that I might take a case against the,
Be
I don't know,
good
the
if you
guard.
did.
Sorry?
It would be good. It would be a good test case, really.
It
Go
would.
by the
It
letter of the
would.
law.
Yeah, it would. I'm just not in a position to take it on that way. I mean, I suppose putting this out here. By the way, this is you're the first person who has talked to me on a a big platform.
Big-ish. We're just lucky to have any kind of a platform, really, because it's so controlled out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is the first time this is being shown on any platform. Like, well, I mean, I shared it on BitChute, just prompted by you. I shared this on BitChute, and but it's out there now. But this is my kind of, I suppose, this is my answer back to the people that did this. I blame the owner of O'Donovan's. I would blame. Yeah.
Well, this guy obviously thinks his mask is working. He thinks that there's something in the air, like so many, and that's including the Professor Luke O'Neill types, who made out anyway that there was something in the air that you could breathe in, breathe out on top of somebody else, and kill them. So if we look at it from that perspective, these people were terrified. They thought that there was a pandemic. So, I mean, I can forgive them. I really can, because if with that state of fear, he obviously thought his mask was stopping this deadly pathogen from entering his nose and his mouth.
Yeah.
So
I can forgive somebody who believes something. That I have no argument with somebody who really believes something. But when you put something to them, to anyone, and they won't listen, well, then I have a problem. And you're going to have to just kind of get out of the way, or who knows what else needs to be done. But you just need to stand back. If you don't know your stuff, you can't answer a question. You just have to get out of the way. That's how reason works.
Yeah, well, common sense must prevail, which is why we keep going. Which is why every day we keep going. And your approach is more comedic, which is probably the better approach. But let's just go on with the video for the time being. And things actually, it's so farcical, you'd have to laugh.
It's Monty Python.
Yeah. So this is live streaming now on YouTube. So I'm just waiting here to see what happens. He's locked me into the shop. This is false arrest.
Yes, he wouldn't.
This is
He knows
kidnapping.
he's not getting served because he wouldn't wear a mask. So he tried to take 2 bottles, leave the money on the counter, and push past me, but I wouldn't allow it.
Let's see what happens.
So there we go. I mean, he's just said it. So he said, you tried to pay and then push past because you wanted to leave the shop, but he wasn't going to let you. So he's just totally incriminated himself there. He's explained his own crime where you've done nothing wrong. It's
exactly. He just completely changed the story. And who knows what might have happened if I wasn't recording. I don't know. He could have made all sorts of claims. But and as I was saying earlier, it's a pity I didn't record when the guards came in. But anyway, at least I got this amount.
No, you got this, and this is, and as you say, he could have said anything. He's already said you assaulted him, and now he's saying, no, you tried to push past him to get out of the shop. Fair enough, you paid.
He's admitted that he lied, effectively.
Yeah, so he's put himself in an awful pickle. I mean, fair play to you also for covering his face. I mean, that's the honourable thing to do. But, you see, this is it. You're dealing with honourable people who we're not really out to make a show of people. That's not the point. The point is trying to make the wider public understand the gravity of what has happened and the way people treated each other and why that's not a good thing. And anyway, let's on with the show. Let's see the next part of the video.
Here now.
Goes quiet here a bit.
I have him here, yeah, I have him locked in the shop, I have the keys.
The music is funny too.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, we'll see what happens now. You know what you're doing is wrong.
You were told you're not getting served.
I find that really sad, I think that's really sad that he just thought that he was entitled to treat you like that. And then when you said that, that's it's profound, really.
Yeah, his level of confidence in what he was doing, like you wonder, like, where that comes from, that kind of confidence. He obviously felt that level of support from, I mean, maybe his employer said, yeah, you can do this, and this, and I will back you up 100%. Don't worry about anything. Or I don't know, all the propaganda all the electronic boxes bleating out propaganda and newspapers. We
had this story at the time as well. Remember this? In Cork, West Cork, grandmother, absurd selfishness, that was the judge, for refusing to wear a mask, lands her in jail. Remember that story?
I remember the story. I heard about the story. I didn't I didn't research it, and it would have been something good for the book. No, there's always things you'd like to kind of have added in.
Yeah, well, she was in a restaurant, so what they were fine when they're sitting down in the restaurant, they could all take the masks off. But she walked into the restaurant without the mask while they were all in the queue, you see. But so then she ended up in jail for not wearing it standing up. But if she'd been sitting down eating, she would have been fine. But that's how nutty things got. And it still hasn't been acknowledged.
Yeah, well, I think, like, in the back people's minds, they know. And it's like, I mean, to put it in a kind of in a funny way, it's like a fart in the room and nobody wants to admit they're the one who did it. But it's like the majority of people share this guilt. So they don't want to admit it, and I can understand how it feels. I've been there. Do
you think they regret it though? Do you think there is regret there, or do you think they'd do it again?
I think it would be a tougher ask. I think they're probably sick of the kind of mild embarrassment, at least, or maybe a lot of embarrassment that's coming at them. And if things were to kick off in the same way, like using the same techniques, I think they'd have a hard time. I think they'd have a hard time doing it. But this, like, propaganda is still working. Like, people believe in all sorts of crazy stuff. They think they know about world events, and they know who's supposedly leading their leaders of their country, leaders of their empire, which is the European Union. It's European Union is an empire, and they somehow believe in these people. But I think it's very weak link there. And I think it's just paper thin.
Now
Um,
we have your book here. Let me just pull it up. It's on Amazon. Not Amazon, but I
so
understand.
evil,
I'm not judging you.
yeah,
Um,
the
New
evil
authors,
overlord.
trying to get a publisher and all of that. I mean, in some ways, Amazon has been a lifeline, really, to get published.
Yeah, yeah. I had talked to people who went through publishers, and I got I got cold feet about going to a publisher, because they've all sorts of crazy things that they ask you to do or tell you to do to get published. But then again, there might be publishers out there. If there are any publishers listening that want to get in touch about this book, to re-release this book, or to publish another book, maybe in as a kind of follow on, I'm open to that.
Well,
So
I know Seamus from Substack, so you go under a different name on Substack, and you are quite satirical, really. You kind of take
yeah,
a funny kind of globalist angle when in the comments,
yeah,
and it's always, it's
yeah,
funny.
I'm poking fun at, like, not just the globalists, but I'm kind of poking fun at ourselves as well,
Yeah.
by I'm presenting a globalist. So my character is Charles Foster Kane. It's actually based on the character Citizen Kane in that movie.
Yeah.
And his character is actually based on a guy called Randolph Hearst, who was a real guy in very similar, very, very similar kind of character. But he was a globalist. But Charles Foster Kane tried to sell himself as a kind of a man of the people, almost kind of like a Trump in certain ways. And he just turned out to be a brute and a megalomaniac, kind of like, dare I say it, Trump.
Well, a lot of people are finding out the hard way, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's never really
yeah.
a good idea to put your faith in another human being, really and truly. It kind of
It,
never
it, it,
ends
it
well.
isn't. It isn't. Yeah, it isn't. I mean, you or I, we're just people sitting here talking. Who, why would you throw your faith, put your faith in somebody you haven't met, and you don't know, really well? Like, why would you do that? It makes no
Yeah.
sense, really.
And
Yeah.
with the track record. But let's not go down there, or we'll be talking all day. I wanted to keep this short today, just a little introduction, but I was listening to your audio version of the book, and I love it because you have this voice that really lends itself to broadcasting. And again, the humor is in there because there's a lot of sarcasm and a lot of fun. So let's pull up. I put some shots over it because I thought this is going to make a nice video. And I have, of course, loads of shots in my library all lined up, ready to go. So let's just play a little bit.
Ryan Tubridy, or Tubbs, as he became affectionately known to the good people of Middle Ireland, was another well-placed agent of the establishment. An anchorman, or more precisely, the anchorman for the Irish National State Broadcaster, RTE. He wasn't pretty, but what he lacked in visual appeal, he more than made up for with charm and inoffensiveness. He was the teddy bear that the Irish populace would caress at bedtime to soothe themselves to sleep. Grown infants needed to know that everything was well with the world.
Now, did I take him away? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'll put it back in now again in a second. But, what's so interesting about this, and I think you cover it in Tales from the Lockdown, is these characters, the likes of Ryan Tubridy, the fact that the Irish really trusted him. And trust, of course, is the currency of these presenters. People made the mistake of believing in them. They were reading auto cues. They were making vast sums of money for playing along and pushing this pandemic lie, essentially. and they made people very, very afraid. They convinced people that they needed these injections, a series of unproven liability-free injections. And they also convinced people that there was something in the air that could kill them. So this is all nonsense. We have to keep saying it because people still don't get it. They're still talking in terms of the pandemic and the virus, and that they think they needed injections. But without players like Ryan Tubridy, it couldn't
Concerned
happen.
if Tubbs was happy, then everyone was happy.
Sorry, I'll pause it there for a second. Yeah, so Tubridy features in your book, and this is just a little excerpt from the book that we wanted to show you. But yeah, talk us through why you chose Tubridy.
Yeah, so I just picked kind of three main Irish characters, Ryan being one of them. I think he's definitely the most prominent propagandist in the whole game of the pandemic, the plandemic. He was the most convincing. I mean, he's a professional broadcaster. Houlihan, neither Houlihan nor O'Neill are professional broadcasters, and they don't do narratives well at all. They're not TV material. But Tubridy is TV material. I mean, it's a pity because he does have a talent. Unfortunately, he's using it for the dark forces. Yeah, I mean, he, as I say, like his personality is this kind of warm, gentle personality. I mean, it's kind of it becomes nauseating after a while because you kind of realize, okay, there's nothing else going on here. It's just warm and fuzzy, and it's Pied Piper leading you in. I mean, he treats the Irish audience like little innocent children who don't have a great lot going on. You know, like mentally, like that's the thing. What we found was, you know, we found the Irish people deciding to be kind of stupid about this. Like they're actually not that stupid, but they decided collectively to be stupid.
Yeah, because they're not doctors, you see. That was the whole thing. It's like, well, you're not a doctor. And we taught to revere doctors. Like before, we were taught to revere priests. It was the same playbook. Then you farm out your brain, you farm out your ethics, and it all ends badly. Again, like, here we go again, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, my response when people asked me, you know, or like make the accusation, well, you're not a doctor, you know, how can you make a statement like that? And I'm going, well, I'm actually just repeating a doctor. Like, I know nothing about, next to nothing about medicine. I don't claim to know anything about medicine. I'm quoting like as I told the guards in the off license when they asked me who's your doctor, which they had no authority to ask, but when they asked me who's my doctor, I said Professor Kulldorff, and they were going, "Oh right, how do you spell that?" So I spelled it out, and he said, "And where is he based?" Harvard Medical School. He's the head of Harvard Medical School. And that's my doctor, actually. That's the doctor. That's my doctor. Now I have my doctor, but I mean, as my doctor told me after the dust had settled, long after it, he actually said to me, I'll say Seamus. He said, "Yeah, it looks like you were right." My doctor told me.
Yeah,
but
it was so easy. I mean, even Luke O'Neill had said it. Talking to Ryan Tubridy initially, he had said, "There's absolutely, if you're not sick, there's no need to wear a mask.
If you're not infected, no reason to wear a face mask. Two reasons: one, people fidget with it anyway, you know, and secondly, it goes in through the eyes as well. It's an evil virus; it'll penetrate the eyes, and that's not covered anyway, you know."
And then he changed his mind, and then he doubled down. Then he said, "Wear two." and then it was like wear it outdoors, so it was farcical, it was stupid. But if anybody was listening in, it was like, well, your man there said don't wear it because it's not going to work anyway, because he said the evil virus comes in through your eyes. So bananas. But I don't want to keep it too long. I want to go down to, let me just see now. There was a little, there he is. Actually, you make a very good point here. Let's just play this little bit.
Or more accurately, their paymasters.
Now, 1 second there, like rewind.
He was a powerful rhetorician who could play the Pied Piper to Middle Ireland. If the government, or more accurately, their paymasters, wanted to bring about a change in our society, here was their man. An emotional manipulator who could turn the most rabid traditionalist into a supporter of hedonistic nihilism. His job was to steer the public.
What do you mean there when you're saying that he could convert the most conservative into nihilistic hedonists?
Well, like it's there's a huge, we could see there's a huge push on to change society, drive society towards hedonism and nihilism, where it's like, what's the point in life? Oh, it's all hopeless. And then hedonism is almost the flip side of that, where, sure, look, let's just go wild and, and just enjoy every moment of pleasure that we can get. And there's nothing, pleasure is extremely important, obviously. It's not, but like it's kind of where you derive your pleasure and how you interact with the world. So there, there's a movement to push people towards these places of darkness, and like Ryan Tubridy was able to kind of weave his way into people's minds, because it's like, I'm just an innocent guy, just making this little point here and that little point there, and before you know it, just these little increments that you don't kind of notice, and eventually you find yourself, Jesus, how did I get here? It's like, well, a little bit at a time, just a tiny little bit at a time. And this was the guy to sell this darkness. And I do think that this guy is in a very bad place. I think he realizes that he's in a bad place. You can even see it there in that image.
Yeah, you see, I don't. I think he's just going to try, and he will never admit, he'll never acknowledge the excess deaths and injections. Like, I think from looking at them and from being in the business myself, the effort it takes not to ask the basic questions that they didn't ask, the likes of Claire Byrne, Ryan Tubridy, Dr. Ciara Kelly, to sidestep all the obvious questions and veer around it and manage the story, that takes skill. And it also takes a darkness, because you are absolutely going out of your way to avoid very, very basic questions that would have shown up the whole thing very, very easily. Instead, you're using all sorts of techniques to convince people that their lives are in danger, that they need these injections that they're calling vaccines, and they need to queue up and do the right thing. So it's all under the guise of caring. It's under the guise of this community effort and spirit and Irishness. And I think, that is really, really dark, that kind of behavior.
Oh, it's incredibly dark. Like you saw it in the, like you played that video of the lovely little girl who is to put even just to put a little girl on television and get her to say the words Pfizer, get her to demonstrate violence towards other children.
I'd like to know how much the family got for that. Do you know what kind of exchange there was for that giant plug on the Late Late Toy Show? But more so than anything else, yes, I know there was a lot of complaints, and a lot of people out there who are good people complained and made their voices heard. But the majority in their Jimmy Jams, all those adults in their Jimmy Jams tuning in, paid no heed. This was not a bother. This was not a problem. Let's just play a little bit of it.
They were to be gifted by the taxpayers of Ireland.
Now we need to get him a Pfizer vaccine.
Tubbs, who saw lockdowns as a marvellous idea, showed his commitment to the cause in a mind-warping 5-minute television segment aired on 27th November 2020, the day that his puppet masters had decided to flex their muscles on TV. They couldn't have chosen a more perfect occasion in which to do so. The Late Late Toy Show happened to be watched annually by just about every child in the country, and by extension most parents too. Uncle Tubbs, being the all-singing, all-dancing clown for hire, was dressed up in a thoroughly emasculating reindeer-esque outfit for the occasion.
Like horns, I think. Those ears, they're more like horns looking back. But, you're so right on this front, because look at the damage done to children. First of all, they thought they could kill their parents or kill their little baby brothers or sisters. They thought they could be a virus. They were told that they're carriers of this virus, even though all the science and the doctors were saying, actually, no, they're not. But this pervasive lie went out that, they're the ones that are spreading the infection. What a horrible, cruel thing to do to children. And a lot of them are still not over it. And a lot of them have got all sorts of mental problems as a result of this, stemming from this and this mentality that went out across the nation as a dark spell that still has yet to be broken properly. And the only way we're going to break it is by being honest, but also these conversations and your book as well. So well done for putting it down.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks very much for covering it. You're the first YouTuber, broadcaster, whatever, to take this up, and you've been very decent to deal with, and all I can say is I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we're a small tribe, you see. We all, the ones of us who understand what happened, who could see what was going on early on, there's very few of us. So, we kind of have an understanding, let's say. When we chat, we can chat very freely about things that matter and that really, really matter.
Guy, just one thing that occurred to me, just re-watching that video, because I haven't actually watched it for a couple of years. That guy maybe was like the if I had been angry towards him and I'd shown my teeth in that situation, it would have been hugely advantageous to him and to the guards and to the people. And if I'd given him a dig, that would have been just, cherry on the cake for them. But because thankfully I didn't, it means they are, that screws them, that destroys their position. Yes. And that's the thing, like leverage, like position. And if you're calm, you show that you're in charge. If you're the calm one, you're the one in charge.
Yeah.
Like you be standing in front of, Micheál Martin, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin. If you're the one who's calm, you're the one who's really in charge. And but in the moral sense, they can still pop a bullet in your head and haul you off to jail, but they'll know that you beat them in the court of, let's say, superior morality in the best sense, not the stupid morality that is going around that pretends to be morality.
Yeah.
But the real morality, like deep down morality that we all know ourselves.
I hope so. I assumed we did know it, but now I'm questioning it. I'm thinking, well, they don't actually know it. I think this needs to be taught. And maybe it's because we've become so secular that people don't know it. I mean, my thesis when I left DCU studying journalism was what's going to fill the void, fill that vacuum of what the Catholic Church used to provide, that kind of moral basis, let's say, the foundation. And as I was leaving university, it was crumbling. And my question was, what's going to fill this void as the teacher, for this moral basis? And I've got my answer. It's the secular society, it's new age thinking, which comes across as really nice. And, that's where we got the virtue signaling from.
We really care. We really care. Yeah. And I remember years ago being I was involved with Amnesty International years ago. It was all about human rights. I mean, that was the point of any of it. And then talking to Amnesty International people that I know from way back, and I'm kind of going, so what's the story with COVID? How do you feel about it? Oh yeah, we needed to lock down and we needed to tell people to take this experimental jab.
You see, they all went into lockstep, didn't they?
What do you mean you're interested in human rights? You're not. That's bullshit.
And where did all the human rights lawyers? Where was George Clooney's wife? She's supposed to be this glamorous human rights lawyer. Instead, he was on the red carpet saying he wanted everybody injected on set. So, I mean, it really exposed. We really got to...
Noam Chomsky, he's there preaching. He's preaching kind of liberation for, kind of left, but claiming to be an anarchist, and then going, oh well, if you don't take your jab, you should be put in prisons. Thanks, Noam.
Jordan Peterson as well. Another one talking about totalitarianism and how to see the signs. Yeah. A lot of us spotted the signs because of these guys. They had shown us in advance, this is what to look out for. Oh, wait a second, it's ticking every box. And then Jordan Peterson, take the damn vaccine. But listen, we're out of time. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Let's just give your book another boost there. Where do people find it?
Okay, so you can get, if you go to talesfromthelockdown.com, you can go and purchase the digital files of the audiobook, and you get a bonus EPUB book. So that's one option. And the other is to go to Amazon. Actually, on talesfromthelockdown.com, there are links to the Amazon books as well that you can get a print copies, softback, hardback, Kindle, and also it's also on Audible, so you can get it on your your monthly Audible subscription. So that's another option.
I love the Audible. I mean, it's funny that I've come around to this. I used to be more of a reader. I couldn't believe it with you. Then I was listening, but you've got a storytelling ability in there. So I was really enjoying listening to you tell the stories, funnily enough. Okay, so that is it. Thank you so much for talking us through the video. I think it's a really important video. I think it's a great one to have in the archives as something that we need to discuss continually. It's not something that's going away. Everybody says, are you still talking about it? Yes,
no,
we can talk about this forever.
Yeah, it's not gone away. People go, oh my God, are you still talking about that? Yes, I am. And I'm going to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Until people understand. And so let's see, will they understand? Are they going to get it? I think they will. I actually do. I think they will eventually. And I think it's going to be another, like we saw with the Catholic Church and the priests and all the rest, it's going to be another moment where we go with the doctors. We've invested too much faith in these people. They're only people. They make mistakes. They're also a bit greedy. They wanted the incentives and all the rest, right? And they're going to have to learn that. I think they will. I think it will be painful. You're going to kill a lot of people along the way. That's the problem. You see, that's why it's so serious. Yeah. A lot of people will end up murdered along the way because of this. But anyway, listen, great chatting to you. And thanks so much for talking us through your book and the video. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks very much, Aisling. I really appreciate it.
How's it going? I'm in O'Donovan's off license on Summerhill, and I've been forcibly kept inside the shop here, and the man here is ringing the guards.
Correct.
So this is
yes, hello.
Kidnap.
Can I get the guards, please, to O'Donovan's office in Summerhill, please?
This is false arrest and kidnap.
Summerhill, yeah. Please.
So this is going.
Right, just up from McGurk
This
Street.
is going live out to YouTube.
I have a fella here who actually assaulted me.
So this
I locked the door, so he's actually locked in the shop.
Oh yeah, he said I assaulted him. I tried to get out of the shop.
Oh,
So he's saying that I assaulted him. I was
I'm
just
inside,
trying to
I'm
get
inside,
out of
I'm
the
locked
shop.
inside.
Yeah. So this is live streaming now on YouTube. So I'm just waiting here to see what happens.
Sloan,
He's locked me into the shop. This is false arrest.
Yes, he wouldn't.
This is
He knows he's
kidnapping.
not getting served because he wouldn't wear a mask. So he tried to take 2 bottles, leave the money on the counter, and push past me, but I wouldn't allow it.
Let's see what happens here now.
I have him here, yeah, I have him locked in the shop, I have the keys. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, we'll see what happens now. You know what you're doing is wrong.
You were told you're not getting served.